FIFA World Cup is coming to the United States, but they're coming to all of these cities. So, and like nobody in the United States cares about soccer, honestly. I mean, a handful of people, but like per capita, the United States does not watch soccer. We don't care. I don't know the first thing about soccer. I really don't. But here's the weird thing that goes with that. Like, for example, here's AT&T Stadium in Dallas. They're playing here. But FIFA does not allow outside sponsors or what do they call this, like branding on the stadiums, right? So, you know, every professional stadium in the United States, you've got AT&T Stadium. You know, you've got, like I said, Gillette Stadium in Boston, Mercedes Stadium in Atlanta, and all of these stadiums, they're naming rights or whatever you want to call it for these corporations that obviously pay a lot of money to have their logos on these stadiums. But when FIFA comes to town, they don't allow it because they're not getting any of that. You know, that money is going into the NFL and the NFL teams that they're supporting, and FIFA is not getting any of that. So FIFA's saying, hey, you're going to do away with it. And all of these stadiums are doing it. So like if you take a look here, AT&T, they're going to have to cover that up. I don't know if they just like, you know, I'd make it as redneck as possible if it was me. I'd just put like a blue tarp over it, maybe a bed sheet, something, you know, and just, or maybe just like some red spray paint, put an X over it. Like I would just make it super redneck. It's just like in your face FIFA, because like who cares about FIFA? And I don't understand why these teams, why is Jerry Jones allowing them to deface his stadium like that for soccer? It doesn't make sense to me in the United States. Now, I understand if you're, you know, in a South American country, in a European country, like soccer's the thing over there. Soccer is like football is here. In fact, they call it football. But in the United States, I don't understand the importance of it. And then to add on to it, this is the field. This is inside AT&T Stadium. And AT&T Stadium, as you know, is a turf football field. It always has been. That's what they play on. But FIFA, another caveat that they have when they come to town, they don't allow their soccer players to play on turf. They have to play on natural grass. So this is an actual picture of the inside of AT&T Stadium taken just a couple days ago. They're laying this beautiful natural grass in there at, like, I don't know the expense, but I'm telling you, as you can see how much grass that is, and it's perfectly manicured. And then to even add on to that, they have to put in, you see these, well, as you see here, those white racks that are hanging, as you can see, they're like hanging from a cable. Well, this is what they are. They light up, they put infrared light, because obviously, again, that's a domed stadium. As most of these stadiums that they're going to be playing in the United States are, they're domed stadiums. They don't get natural sunlight, or not much, nearly not enough to maintain this grass growing. So they're having to invest in all of these lights. And again, like, what is the cost on all of these lights? They're having to hang them over the field and let this grass absorb this infrared light so that it continues to live and grow and be healthy grass. And I'm just like, why can they not do this for the actual teams that play on these fields? Why are the Dallas Cowboys having to trot out here and play on this turf with the rubber pellets on it, you know, and have all these knee injuries and ankle injuries and getting beat up when they hit the ground that's like concrete with rubber coated turf over it? And then you bring in these bougie soccer players and they get to play on grass that they're, you know, growing just for this event. And then what happens when this event's over? They're going to shovel all that out of there and go haul it off to the feedlot somewhere and then roll their crappy turf back in? And it's not, I'm just using AT&T Stadium or Dallas Stadium because we can't call it AT&T, but I'm just using that as an example. Like all of these stadiums, all of these cities here on this list, the majority of these are turf fields. I don't think that Philadelphia is. I think that's grass. Miami, I believe, is grass. San Francisco, I believe, is grass. But the rest of them, all turf. Maybe Boston. I don't know. I'd have to double check on that. But a lot of these stadiums are having to do the same thing that they're doing in Dallas. And then they bring in their own football players that are, you know, playing on the turf, which causes so much injuries. And I would think that just like why don't you give a crap? Like FIFA demands this. They demand this quality of standard for their players. And like I'm not anti FIFA. It sounds like I'm bashing FIFA. I'm actually not bashing them. Like I'm very impressed by this standard that they provide. Like we're not going to play on your crappy stadium surface, and we're not going to have your sponsors making money off of something that we're providing. Like I think that's awesome. Honestly, my deal is like, I'm just saying in the United States, how do we care that much about it that the owners of these stadiums and the people that are maintaining this are agreeing to it? That's what's crazy to me, that they're actually agreeing to it. But when it comes to our own sports that are actually, housing these stadiums, that this is their home, they don't care. They're taking the money from the sponsors and they're making them play on the turf. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, your players are your investment. That team is your investment. These players they're making a lot of money that you're having to pay for as the management of the team, as the owner of the team. You're paying, like Matthew Stafford just signed a 1-year contract extension to play next year. He's making $55 million for the one season. And that's not including the 270 something that he's already making from his previous contract. That's how much money you're paying these guys. Obviously, they're not all making that much money, but like you would want to protect your investment, I would think. And I applaud FIFA for that. I'm just kind of like, what the heck with the people that are agreeing to it? Like that just kind of blew my mind when I saw how much trouble they're actually going to make this soccer tournament happen here in the United States. That's just crazy to me. So let me know what you think about that, because maybe I'm the one that's far-fetched, but to me it sounds like they need to just continue this. I think they should continue. And I mean, obviously they're not going to lose the sponsorship at the stadium, and I don't really think they should, but like when it comes to the field surface, you've already invested it. Who owns all of those lights and all that equipment that you're doing the infrared stuff with? Like, did they have to buy that? Are they leasing it? Like, is there some place that rents that kind of stuff or leases it? Like how often would you actually lease that stuff out? That I think that they more than likely are purchasing that stuff. They own it. So you've already got everything there. Let's just keep doing it. I'm sure your football players would be thrilled to be able to play on a surface like that. So I think that they should keep doing it, but I don't know. Let me know what you think.